The storm desk. Read the storm, book the roofs. You cleared $2 million in sales. The phone rang, the trucks rolled, the deposits landed, and you took home less than your best foreman. The business feels successful. The bank account argues. By the end of this, you'll know the 5 places a $1 to $3 million roofer leaks profit, and the number watching each one. Not one magic tactic. 5 quiet leaks. The average roofing contractor nets about 2.8%. Half the trade earns less. Volume doesn't fix that. It makes it louder. Fix the words before you touch the levers. Gross margin is what's left of a job's price after the direct cost of building it. Material, field labor, dumpster, permit. Overhead is everything the job didn't cause. Office, your salary, trucks, software, marketing. Net profit is what survives after overhead and taxes. That's the only number that pays you. And here's the arithmetic error that bankrupts busy shops. Markup is not margin. Markup is added on top of cost. Margin is taken out of price. Run the number because this one hurts. Direct cost of $10,000. You mark it up 30% and bill $13,000. You did not earn a 30% margin. You earned 23.1. To hit an actual 30% gross margin, you need a 43% markup. So the owner who thinks 30 equals 30 and needs 35% gross to cover overhead underprices every job and can't understand why a busy year feels broke. Pick the gross you need, work backward to the markup, post the conversion where estimators see it. Driver 1. Know the real margin on each finished job, not a blended guess. Most shops this size price off a template, sell, build, and never circle back to compare the estimate to reality. So a blended number lies. Different work earns very different margins. Residential repairs run the fattest, roughly 40 to 50% gross. Retail replacements, 30 to 40 when priced right. Commercial re-roofs, competitively bid, run thinnest, around 20 to 25. If your one company-wide number is 32, the blend tells you nothing. So close the loop on every job. Estimate versus actual, same line items. Estimated labor hours against actual, burdened. Estimated material against what the roof ate. Change orders billed. Then the real gross margin. The goal isn't a pretty report. It's a pattern. 10 replacements in a row where labor beat the estimate by 20% tells you the template is wrong. And the fastest fix at the table, stop discounting. A 10% cut on a 32% job erases about a third of its profit. Driver 2. Crew output per labor hour. You can sell at a healthy margin and still lose it on the roof. Labor is the most variable cost on a job and the one most under your daily control. Measure it in man-hours per square. 1 square is 100 square feet. By crew and roof type against a real standard. The National Roofing Contractors Association publishes productivity references for that. The leverage. Labor is roughly a third of revenue, so a 10% productivity gain can move net margin a full point without selling one more job. Now find where the hours really go. Most lost time isn't a slow crew. It's a crew not working. Waiting on a late delivery. Sitting on a color nobody confirmed. Driving back for flashing nobody ordered. That's a scheduling problem, wearing a productivity costume. Fix the handoff and the slow crew is often fast. And cost the burdened hour, not the wage on the check. A roofer paid $25 an hour does not cost you $25 once you add payroll taxes, workers, comp, liability, truck, and fuel. Build off the bare wage, and you understate cost on every job. And safety is a productivity driver, not a tax. Falls are the leading cause of death in construction. OSHA requires conventional fall protection for residential work at 6 feet or more above a lower level. A serious fall takes a producer off the roof, shuts a job down, and spikes your workers, comp cost for years. The fastest crews you'll ever run are experienced crews who've never been hurt, because turnover and injury destroy the team productivity you spent years building. A system that runs on shortcuts is a deferred liability that arrives all at once. Driver 3. Material and scope discipline. Material is the largest single line on a replacement, so small leaks here are large dollars, and material problems are almost always estimate problems wearing a delivery uniform. Order off a measured roof, not a windshield guess. Then, the quiet killer, scope creep. The homeowner asks you to just reflash the chimney while you're up there, and the crew does it for free. The rule, extra work means a signed change order before the crew touches it. Driver 4. Sell the right work at the right price to homes that are actually due. More leads is not the goal. More profitable, signed work is. Roofing carries some of the highest acquisition costs in home services. So watch costs per one job, which is lead costs divided by close rate. A $50 shared lead that closes at 5% costs $1,000 per one job. A $200 exclusive lead at 20% also costs $1,000. Same cost, very different work. A low close rate quietly multiplies your real cost. Measure quality at the job outcome. Here's where RoofPredict fits and where it stops. The cheapest profitable work in your shop is usually already in your old CRM, the past estimates that went cold. A storm ages roofs unevenly, so the homes a hailstorm wore out aren't always under the headline path. RoofPredict pairs an estimated roof age range with per home storm physics to score which doors are likely due, so a canvasser skips the brand new roofs and an old estimate list becomes a re-engagement campaign. The limit is hard. It does not inspect the roof, diagnose damage, or certify remaining life. Roof age is a range, not a date. It tells you which doors are worth knocking. The inspection still happens on the ladder. Driver 5. Cash velocity. Profit is an accounting opinion. Cash is a fact. You make payroll with cash, not margin. The metric is day sales outstanding, the average days between finishing a job and getting paid. Construction commonly runs 60 to 90 days, and slow receivables start a chain reaction. You can't pay subs, can't stock the next job, and start financing your own backlog. The single biggest lever is the gap between crew finished and invoice sent. Send the final the day of sign-off, every time. 2 more cash leaks live in the same driver. Overhead creep is silent, because recurring things stop getting questioned. The rep, the truck, the software, the marketing retainer. Each was justified once, and then became permanent. At this size, overhead commonly runs 18 to 25% of revenue, and a point or two of drift for a year is a quarter of your profit gone. Review it monthly. And the most underpriced resource you own is your own attention. If every discount, color, and collection call routes through you, it's a job with employees, not a business. Pull one recurring decision off your plate. Now watch why these 5 matter together. Net margin isn't one big decision. It's the sum of small percentages each driver controls. Start an average shop at 4% net. Fix the markup math and stop reflexive discounts. 2 to 3 points. Raise crew output 1 to 2. Kill material waste and bill every scope change 1 to 2. Tighten the lead mix 1 to 2. Pull cash in and trim overhead 1 more. No single line is heroic. Stacked. They're the gap between the trade average 2.8 and the low double digits a well-run shop earns at the same revenue, same trucks, same town, different discipline. Close the loop. Profit is engineered, not hoped for. Job cost your last 10 finished jobs and find your real margin by type. Fix the markup math so the price targets the gross you need. Stand up a 30-minute weekly meeting that finds the one constraint and assigns one action. Send finals the day of sign-off. Mind the CRM and work the doors that are actually due. None of it needs new software. It needs you fixing the same leak until it stays fixed. That's the difference between netting 3% and netting 12% at the same revenue.